It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and right now you tuned into World Combat Sports.
What's good, everyone? Thanks for tuning in once again to World Combat Sports. Salute. I know it's fight night. I'm not going to be on here long, but I may be. You know what I'm saying? I mean, it's a fight card going on Showbox. And I would say if you are there, check it out. You know, you have the main event, Calvin Henderson versus Isaiah Steen. Pretty close in experience. You know, Isaiah Steen 17-0. And Calvin Henderson, I believe, is 15-1. But you know, the co-main event is going to be, I believe they call him Janelson Boca Chica, and he's the one that defeated Mark Reyes. He's going in there against Shinard Bunch. That's going to be a damn good fight right there because once again, you know the backstory of boxing and combat sports, right? Bunch trains in the same gym as Mark Reyes, so therefore, you know. Boca Chica, you know, he can't understand why Bunch want to give him time in the ring, you know, because he feels that Mark Reyes is a better fighter. He says, so why would you want to step in the ring with me? You know what I'm saying? Why would you want to step in the ring with me when I defeated Mark Reyes, who I believe overall is a better fighter than you? So what are you going to bring to the table? Boca Chica say, if he want to box, I'm a brawl. If he want to brawl, I'm a box. It's pretty much up to him to figure out what style I'm going to come with. I like that attitude, though. I like it. Let me give a shout out to the ones in the chat, man. Salute to everyone. Deshaun Thompson, Pennant, what's good? Everybody else that support the channel. I'm in between things, you know what I'm saying? I'm handling some business. So, you know, I haven't been on here in a regularity as I should, but it's not the fact that I'm lacking any type of passion for these lives at all. Don't get it twisted. You know, it's still there. The temperature is still hot. You feel me? So let me tell you how disappointed I am. You know, I'm gonna get to that a little bit later, but I was just briefly touching on Calvin Henderson and Isaiah Steen. Today was one of those days where I should have seen a weigh-in. You know, I was looking forward. You know, I'm still getting the notifications to certain appointments that I had set up in Vegas. You know what I'm saying? And we know that Wilder Fury was supposed to go down this weekend, tomorrow. We were supposed to experience a fight week unlike any other. I know it was going to be a heavy presence of Deontay Wilder fans out there. Not like the rematch when they front loaded the UK media, you know what I'm saying? All those comp tickets that was out there. They helped the UK organization, you know, fill the seats and cheer Fury on. You know, just a little bit of blended activity to the entire scandal. You know what I'm saying? From the walkout to the performance to the results. You feel me? That's what it was all about. You want, you know, inject UK fans over here. I'm not saying UK fans don't stay in the US, but I'm just saying on that night, it was a lot of manipulation going on in that night, right? So anyway, I'm very disappointed when I heard the news, first of all, that Tyson Fury, you know, I'm gonna use Keon's term, called the co-bitch 19, the co-cheat 19 syndrome. You know what I'm saying? The virus. You know, I was pretty upset, man. I ain't gonna lie to you. I was pretty upset, bro. Deshaun Thompson say, what's up? Who ready for Deontay Wilder annihilate Tyson Fury tomorrow? Deshaun, please. No trolling, bro. No trolling. You know? I mean, even though it's light trolling, but I'm asking myself, you know, every time you pop on here, you have some goofy to say. So I'm gonna let it slide, whatever. Kano Loco Sports in the building. Man, y'all be sure to check him out, man. Subscribe to Kano Local Sports and check out his content. You know what I'm saying? Check out what he's talking about over there on this channel, man. Be putting out some fire content, man. Salute to you, Kano. Big dog in the building. Salute WCS. Penny said, did you see my message? I don't know, you know, like, check this out, Pennant. I am seeing you over here, but you left a message that I'm going to get to. Yes, I saw it. You was talking about Bridgerweight. Bridgerweight is not where I'm going to talk about right now. Anybody who follow me, I address the chat. I do. But that topic is so far off where I'm at right now. We talking about Deontay Wilder, Tyson Fury, the Phantom freaking trilogy that never was, due to Tyson Fury ducking, aborting mission, and really didn't have the courage to take this fight once again. You know what I'm saying? It takes me back to when they first fought, and they supposed to fought the the rematch immediately. And Tyson Fury wanted to go up there and fight Tom Schwartz and Otto Wallin, and then go jump off the top rope and play around with Braun Strowman. And then he decides, once the master plan is tied, you know what I'm saying, they tie up all the loose edges and shit. He goes in there and fight him. But check this out though. Now, Deontay Wilder was saying it perfectly, and everybody else was saying it, that Tyson Fury is up to something. He's planning, he's plotting, he's scheming. This nigga scheme. You know what I'm saying? And and everybody was right. Everybody was fucking right about Tyson Fury. I'm not saying right for the first time. I'm talking about right in what he has set up for tomorrow. So 2 weeks out, I would give or take 2 weeks out. It's done, over. The air is just let out of this whole buildup for which was going to be a huge presence for the Deontay Wilder fans, y'all. And I'm gonna tell you that all the bullshit his dad is saying, you must have not heard what Wilder has said. Wilder has basically made it perfectly clear that if he loses his life in the ring, then that's what it is. Don't worry about anything else, because he chose to do this. This man chose to contend in the sport of boxing. So therefore, John Fury getting up here talking about, he could lose his life. Well, isn't that what he wanted to happen when they was in the rematch? Isn't that why he was mad at Breland for throwing in the towel? He said, let me go out on my shield. I'm the boss. I'm paying you. Respect my wishes. You feel me? Like, come on, man. Like, what is his pops talking about? The man has committed with total confidence to the sport and understand the sacrifice that goes along with it. Once again, Deontay Wilder has committed to the sport and the sacrifice that goes along with it. Just like in the military and combat, we don't have a choice. Once we leave outside the wire, or once we're on a convoy, or once we're under attack in combat, it's no retreat. It's no retreat, no surrender. You don't have a motherfucking, your boy house to go out to. You're in enemy territory. That's what I'm talking about with Wilder. He totally understands what his commitment is. And be committed the way he is, you have to have courage. You know what I'm saying? You have to have courage to go in there and make it happen. So fuck all that shit John Fury talking about. He could die in the ring. Once again, we look at it, and Deontay Wilder could die in the ring. I don't really know what this man switches it up all the time. On one side, he's talking about how dangerous it is for Fury. He should just relinquish the belt and go in retirement. And then the next, he's talking about, he hang around, he wants this so bad. Deontay Wilder, he can die in the ring this time. He can really lose his life. Anyway, man, I've heard so much of this shit. I'm just speaking on the 24th. I really was hoping deep down inside that the fight happened. I really was hoping that, all the Wilder fans and the true supporters would be heavy out there, and unite. We can see some camaraderie, some boxing camaraderie out here in Las Vegas. That's what I really wanted to see. I wanted to meet some cats that I haven't seen before that's on here talking this boxing knowledge. I wanted to meet them in person. Of course, get them on the lens and put it out there to you all, the audience. That's what I wanted to do. I was checking in on Tuesday, so I was going to be out there all week. And then people telling me, man, I know you was looking forward to that fight, man, but everything happened for a reason. Yeah. But everything happened for a reason. 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 Yeah. But I just don't believe it. In some circumstances, I do understand everything happened for a reason. But in this particular case, it was so full of shit. You know what I'm saying? I don't believe it had anything to do with happening for a reason. It was planned. You know what I'm saying? It's premeditated. Yes, it was premeditated. And it shit worked out for him because, we're in a situation right now where somebody say they have COVID, motherfuckers don't know whether to stand in place or run. Oh shit, he got COVID. And then, at that stage, with Fury, anybody can give a positive test. We have teenagers out here manipulating these tests to be positive. Man, shout out to Wilder. I know you should have weighed in already today. You should have did the face-off already. It should have been countless, hundreds of videos populating out here on YouTube about this fight that was going to take place tomorrow at T-Mobile Arena. But it's not going down. Salute to the one who did it the best, who was an upstanding fighter in the sport of boxing, never popped dirty. What respect boxing does have for, he's basically emulated it. You know what I'm saying? He set the example by not popping dirty, by being that guy to follow the standards. So salute to the Bronze Bomber, man. You know what I'm saying? We have to get it at the end of the year. I said, nah, man, I'm a big Wilder fan. I even got Wilder's shirt on right now. Well, the fight was off though, but I understand, your humor. You know what I'm saying? I get it, bro. I don't know when you trolling or when you serious. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes you come over here and you straight up, I think you trolling just a little bit. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Pac-Man, ATL, Tate Jones, Golden Warden in the building, man. What's good? Man, if you don't know already, man, he has his channel up and running. It's popping. I guess that teacher, that the occupation of using your intelligence to teach others is now coming into play on YouTube, goddammit. Because this channel is popping, man. Y'all better be damn sure to go check out Pac-Man ATL channel, man. Team member, Team Bomb Squad. He was going to be in Vegas this week. And you know what it is, man. The build-up was going to be real, authentic, and shit was going to be delegated the right way. So shout out to Pac-Man. Supreme Beast Boxing in the building. What's good with you, bro? Appreciate you pulling up once again, man. It's a little small card going on tonight on Showtime. And it's a pretty decent main event, Calvin Henderson, Isaiah Steam. So I know some cats are looking at that. It's all good. It's all good, man. But yeah, with this fight right now, we just have to wait to the end of the year because we understand what the collective overall magnitude of the scandal consists of. It's been talked about thousands of times. It's been reiterated, recycled out here on YouTube. We know who the main culprit is, the malefactor in all of this shit. And we just have to wait several more months for retribution to be delegated, distributed. It's unfortunate it's not tomorrow. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm not going to lie to you. This was the only fight since I've been on YouTube that you had various amounts of members who are content creators who was speaking about being at the fight. So that was special to me when we was talking about a fight of this magnitude, to seeing the content creators that was willing to say, okay, I'm going to this fight. You don't see that with everybody. And that's why I was, hyped up about this shit, man. I was hyped up about Wilder having the opportunity to go in there and get his title back. But also I was hyped up about the content creators who's out here on YouTube that was going to be at the fight. That was going to be a grand moment right there. And, I was like saying to myself, damn, this is going to be the shit. But appreciate everybody in the live chat stopping through, man. man, I don't even feel like going into what Tyson is. You know what I'm saying? What he has shown us, all the bullshit that continue to be disseminated by his family. You know what I'm saying? It's just constant rhetoric, bro. Agitprop. One minute he concerned about Tyson Fury, the next minute he talking about Deontay lose his life and shit. You feel me? Like it's the same shit over and over again. Make up your mind. Are you afraid that your son to be hurt, or you just pretty much puppetizing the audience? You just saying shit out your mouth. That's a huge undertaking. The hardcore boxing fans totally understand the bullshit. They can separate and decipher. But man, it's just repetitive, bro. It's repetitive with these Furies, man. And then the most disrespectful blasphemy of it all is the fact that he gets rewarded for being a cheater. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's for ESPN. Of course, he's with Top Rank. You know what I'm saying? But he gets rewarded for defeating somebody who they were saying wasn't shit. And I say this all the time, but it's true. You know what I'm saying? He gets rewarded for defeating somebody that wasn't shit. That's what they say. I can see if they awarded, Wilder and put him at the back half of the pound for pound list, 8, 9, whatever, as a heavyweight champion for his reign and shit like that. But Tyson Fury defeats him. Boxing Writers Association of America puts Tyson Fury at 7 and 8 on their pound for pound list. How? How does that shit work? You know what I'm saying? Ring Magazine didn't do it. Okay, thankfully. ESPN, you know what ESPN pound for pound list is. It's all about a popularity contest. It's just total bullshit. Also, I wanted to mention an article that was written for Boxing 24, right? And I'm not going to read through the entire article, but yes, I do read these articles and I do understand certain authors are extremely biased individuals. So they talk about, it's an article in there say the delay, blessing or a curse, right? And I think I've mentioned this guy before, Andrew Peters. Andrew Peters is clearly against anything Deontay Wilder has to stand for. Clearly, listen to his verbiage. He said ticket sales was doing poorly. He's still talking about undisputed between Fury and AJ, right? Check this out. Wilder has more time to train. I'm quoting this, right? Wilder gave one of the poorest showings of any champion in the last fight against Fury. He was shocked by Fury's ring generalship, total incapable of formulating a response. Wilder fought a dirty fight. Check this out. Check out his words. I always, put this out there. This is not the first time that I put these authors on Front Street so they can be seen. Wilder fought a dirty fight in both of his encounters with Fury. What? This motherfucker watching. Assaulting Fury with rabbit shots, low blows, and illegal punches. This is what this dude is talking about when it comes to Wilder. Indeed, Wilder has earned a reputation as a dirty fighter in recent times. Other examples include the barrage of Luis Ortiz with his forearms that led to his KO victory. Now, you kind of question yourself, is this guy basically somehow, some way looking at a video in Braille? Is he blind? It's not too many people say that Deontay Wilder is a dirty fighter, but they will clarify that Tyson Fury is that. He goes on to say, he would not have beaten Ortiz without these shots. In spite of these dirty tactics, Wilder still couldn't even come close against Fury. He needs every second he can get to prepare. This delay might be a blessing for him. It might give him sufficient time to avoid a knockout in the second round. Now, This dude is predicting a second round knockout due to these individuals having clearly over a year and a half out of the ring. But the only one that's going to suffer is Deontay Wilder. He's basically stamping a second rounder. He said he might be knocked out in the third round instead. Clearly, this guy is being facetious in every which way possible. He's exaggerating. He's a Deontay Wilder hater, and that's why he's writing the shit he's writing. I'm not totally upset at the stupidity because I've read his articles before, and I know he's extremely biased individual. But I'm just questioning the editor. Does Boxing 24 have an editor? Are these guys free to just post, write, revise, and post without an editor approval? You know what I'm saying? That's just my point, man. Not to go too much in detail about it. That's just me. King Mitch in the building. What's good with you, Mitch? Top Gank got casinos and airlines bailing, balling with them deposits, greasy bastards. Yeah, man. You know, it's top rank, man. Pete Davenport in the building. What's good, Pete? How you feeling, bro? Peace, big bro, and the chat. Shout out to you, Pete. Hope everything is well. I'm not sure who was that. Oh, Andrew Peters. Andrew Peters is the author. He writes for Boxing 24. So, you know what they have a trend of doing over there, and in that particular news outlet is putting out biased information about Deontay Wilder. Extremely biased. I'm talking about extremely biased. And this article right here is fresh. And I've talked about articles from Boxing 24 before. They're saying that Deontay Wilder is described as one of the dirtiest fighters. And I'm like, what do you see that at? Now you're just making up lies. You know what I'm saying? You could creating scenarios. Now people are going to look at you like, okay, I can't take this shit serious because it's kind of totally opposite. In him, he should be talking about Fury and not Wilder as being one of the dirtiest fighters. You know what I'm saying? But you know what it is, man. You know what it is, man. So Joyce and Takam is taking place, right? And you know, if Joyce defeats Carlos Takam, he becomes the #1 WBO contender, right? So this is somewhat big because you have Alexander Usyk going in there for Anthony Joshua. I think in September. I can't say I'm not going to watch the fight. I've never really been an Anthony Joshua fan, to be honest with you, but I'm not going to sit up here and bash him. If he was in there with Deontay Wilder coming up in September, yeah, of course, I'm going to criticize the shit out of him. But Usyk is another one of my least favorite fighters. I believe he's got the Tony Bellew syndrome just a little bit. He's a little bit too small for the heavyweight division. He didn't look as solid as I thought he would. Forget Witherspoon. I'm talking about Derek Chisora. I didn't think he looked solid for me to just say, you know what, this dude got potential to be a world champion. You know, people say, oh, he got a puncher's chance. I agree with you when it comes to Joshua. You know what I'm saying? Usyk has a puncher's chance when it comes to Joshua because Joshua's chin is suspect. He's lost all that bulk and weight too. So I'm looking to see what he's improved in. Everybody's talking about, oh shit, he lost all this weight. You know what I'm saying? He's going to be much faster. He's going to box. Let me see it. Show me. Show me. That's all I'm saying. Show me. Show me. Is your cardio better? Is your combinations better? Because everybody was talking about that right hand. And you stepped in there with Joseph Parker and shot that motherfucker 6 times and it didn't do shit. You knocked down Carlos Takam. What was in the 5th round, I think? He got right back up. They stopped the fight prematurely with Carlos Takam and Anthony Joshua. And that's just going to segue to my fight with Joe Joyce and Carlos Takam, because Joe Joyce is coming in around 20 pounds heavier than Carlos Takam. You know what I'm saying? Carlos Takam is around, two. I think he came in at like 230, 230 something. I'm not sure, but I know it's like a 20 pound gap in between these two. Which means nothing. It's the heavyweight division. Carlos Takam is very well experienced. Joe Joyce, he's on a fast track, man. You know what I'm saying? You're talking about Carlos Takam being a 2004 Olympian back in the day, contending for Cameroon. And Joe Joyce being a 2016 Olympian. So he's on the fast track right now. And people are still, geeked up for what he did to Daniel Dubois, because they was waiting for Daniel Dubois to step up. He stepped in there with Joe Joyce, and his eye was talking a different language. Move your head. That's all you got to do. The man is just throwing one punch and sticking you with the jab. Move your head. I'm hurting right now. I'm feeling uncomfortable. Just do me a favor. Just move to the left or right. Get his timing down. Slip some punches. Just don't stand there. Damn, I thought we was as one. I thought we was a unit, but you let me get the shit beat. You know what I'm saying? His eye was just talking a different language. Daniel Dubois lacked confidence. But anyway, this ain't about him. It's going to be a damn good fight. I heard some people thinking that Carlos Takam is going to get knocked out. I'm like, how, bro? Like, listen, I know you're looking at certain people that knocked out Carlos Takam. I get it. But Joe Joyce was sticking a fighter who's right in front of him, who basically framed him up real nice, and he was able to paint the Picasso. So it was an easy night for Joe Joyce. Carlos Takam, if you didn't see his fight with Jerry Forrest, man, and everybody else that he's fought, he's been in there with some big names. Some he's won, some he's lost, but he's not an easy person to just drop and knock out. Like I said, he would have went the distance with Anthony Joshua, but they had prior plans. They wanted to, they didn't want the fight with Anthony Joshua to go past 10 rounds because he was scheduled to fight Alexander Povetkin in September. So if Carlos Takam would have went the distance, the fans would have been like, man, he just went the distance with Carlos Takam. It would have took some steam away from that matchup. The ref prematurely stopped the fucking fight. Takam deserved to go the distance with Joshua if he did. But the referee was trying to stop the fight from the knockdown. He was trying to act like he didn't speak English. Well, with Joe Joyce, man, I like this fight. Joe Joyce is one of those guys that I don't want to say he underrated, dog. Oh, man, if I say he underrated, people are going to say, what? I don't know, man. He's in between, man. He's in between. I kind of like Joe Joyce. He's one of those low-key, quiet killers. Not because he went in there and put that punishment on Daniel Dubois, but being a smart fighter in general. Carlos Takam is 40 years old and Joe Joyce is 35. So you have two older competitors in the sport of boxing that's gonna go in there and give a pretty good account of themselves. I'm serious. I'm saying it right now. I think it's gonna be a damn good fight. Whether Carlos Takam get knocked out, I don't see him being knocked out in the early rounds. I don't see Joe Joyce knocking him out, period. Serious, I don't see it, man. I don't see it. Mitch say Fury does have skills for a 6'9" foot tall, 300-pound. Yes, Mitch, you have made it clear in other chats that you was on here that he has skills. But let's be clear, if every fighter was the same size as Fury, he wouldn't be shit. Straight up. Much smaller guys have already knocked him down. Absolutely. Absolutely. Like with boxing, we understand the heavyweight division. and the age gap. And that's a whole nother live where I try to explain to people, why are you worried about these middle divisions, right? Moving up in weight when heavyweight fighters, they're sitting up here with a 30-pound gap. Jarrell Miller fighting over the 300 pound marker. You know what I'm saying? Why are you worried about, 47, he moving up to 54? I don't know. He might be too small. Oh, Gary Russell Jr. talking about going up from 126 to 35. I don't know. He might be too small. You know what I'm saying? But a heavyweight, all those guys are not big. Like Andy Konoski, when I checked him out, he didn't weigh too much more than me. You talking about height? Me and him damn near the same height. But he's in there fighting Robert Helenius. Robert Helenius is much taller than Andy Konoski. You talking about Andy Ruiz. Andy Ruiz is not that tall. But he knocked Anthony Joshua's ass clean the fuck out. Mike Tyson wasn't that tall. It was plenty of fighters out there. Joe Frazier. There was so many fighters out there. Even Tommy Morrison, man. You know, there's a lot of fighters in the heavyweight division that wasn't as tall, but they got the job done. You know what I'm saying? So when it comes down to it, man, to caveat off what Mitch said, I was more so reading that article, to once again identify Tyson Fury as being a scoundrel. Not too much to speak on his characteristics and how much he weighs. We already know how much he weighs, but when it comes down to it, my brother, it's just that he's an absolute I'm talking about an A1 pound for pound cheat in boxing. He's a disgrace. F7 in the building. What's good? I really don't know what you're talking about, bro. Fury does have skills. Okay, footwork, solid feints, okay, head movement, nothing exceptional. People only impressed because he's good for 6'9" guy. Well, when it comes down to Fury, his skills has been highlighted and complimented. It's just a guy like him. I'm not going to sit up here and be overly biased and say, you know what, he don't have shit. I'm not going to say that because he does. He put his combinations together. He has this eccentric type of style that can get some people, that can cause some people to just really isolate their ring IQ. You know what I'm saying? They don't know what to do next. It's not like Fury's this over the top puncher, and you should be afraid of him like when Mike Tyson used to walk to the ring. Not at all. But I get what you're saying, though. Joe Joyce versus Anthony Joshua would be a great fight in Nigeria. That fight is so far away. He has to beat Carlos Takam first, their pennant. But shout out to Pennant for being in the building. He definitely has to get past, his task at hand right now, and that's Carlos Takam. Carlos Takam, man, has over 40 professional fights. 45, I believe. He has way more experience than Joe Joyce. But Joe Joyce, he's on the fast track, so he's going to have to keep the measurements continue to go up. He have to keep the barometer continue to go to the top, man, and keep the temperature at that heat, because he is being fast tracked. You know what I'm saying? So that's a real big deal right there, man. We'll see. Nitty G in the building. I think I've seen you before on somebody else's channel, though. But shout out to you for being in the chat. Everybody else is tuned in. Yeah, this is going to be a boxing MMA. So hang around to the back end, so I can break some shit down for you. Those of you that may not know, or, those of you that hang around for the mixed martial arts portion, it's all good. But I look forward to that fight. Moving on to my boy Crawford. Terrence Crawford, best welterweight in the business. Let's get that straight. A lot of people want to basically convolute his business with Top Rank, and then allow that to bleed in to saying that he's not a good boxer. You know, sometimes that work. Like it's so many ways for people to put smoke and mirrors up and for them to speak on and push narratives to get you to believe what you're hearing and seeing. But you have to understand one thing. Crawford is a very talented boxer, people. It's a popularity contest going on in the welterweight division. It is. It's a popularity contest. You just can't smooth over with cow shit on Terrence Crawford's career and act like you don't see anything. It's a reason why Terrence Crawford is in front of Errol Spence on every pound for pound list that exists out there. It's a reason for that. And look, we'll see what happened when Errol Spence defeats Manny Pacquiao. I don't feel it should move him up or down just because they're speaking of resumes. If that's the case, we need to find out a consistency of criteria of what these pound for pound lists are looking for. Because if you're going to take Manny Pacquiao, who has 7 defeats, and he gets defeated by Errol Spence, and all of a sudden you're giving Errol Spence credit for defeating a guy who's been in the sport for an extensive amount of time and has 7 losses. 7 losses. Regardless of him being an A division champ, 7 losses. It shouldn't move Errol Spence any higher on the pound for pound list. It definitely shouldn't move him in front of Crawford. Yes, we're waiting on it. So word has come out that Terrence Crawford may potentially be inking a deal with PBC to fight Sean Porter. And you know, Sean Porter Twitter game, I mean, not Sean Porter, Terrence Crawford Twitter game is goddamn becoming excellent. I like what I'm seeing from Terrence. Like, it's not over the top, brash, trash talking, you know what I'm saying? Just coming at your opponent raw. He's doing that shit with etiquette. Terrence Crawford talking that shit with etiquette. He's finally one of the I'm not reading word for word, but he pretty much said finally one of the big names. You know, I was waiting for a big name to step up and fight me. Now it's being ordered or forced. Now they forced to fight me. You know what I'm saying? So from what I'm understanding, the Terrence Crawford and Sean Porter may indeed go to purse bid. But the good thing about this fight is we getting it. It seems like it's actually in the light positively for the boxing fans to see. This would be Sean Porter's biggest test. It should be his biggest test. All right. Why I say that? Because Sean Porter, he isn't a gatekeeper. He is a quality opponent, very solid and respected in the sport of boxing. Even though he fought at a heavier weight in the amateurs, and I still don't know why these cats are scared to move up. But Sean Porter has lost to some big names. He lost to the Keith Thurmans, the Kell Brooks, Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? So people still give him that respect. And then he bring it. You know what I'm saying? Sean Porter bring it. He brings it. So now he's stepping in there with another top tier name in the welterweight division. And that name is Terrence Bud Crawford, the best welterweight in the boxing right now. And I like it, bro. I like this fight. I truly do, because I think that Terrence Crawford, once again, he's going to do it better than anybody else was able to do it. That includes Errol Spence. You know what I'm saying? That includes Keith Thurman. That even includes Kell Brook, who took Sean Porter's IBF title. You know what I'm saying? He's going to do it better. Bud is going to get this shit done, and he's going to clean it up. Put a bow tie on that motherfucker. He's gonna go in there and defeat Sean Porter better than any other welterweight has done it. Then the talk should be, okay, now we may indeed, after Errol Spence finish Manny Pacquiao and send him to retirement, hopefully it brings us closer, regardless if Errol Spence has that WBA title or not. Let's redirect traffic. Let's go to the fork in the road. You have the WBA on the left and you have the WBO on the right. What lane is it has less traffic? Clear direct path. We need to go the WBO route because that WBA shit, we don't know what the fuck is going on. We don't want to see Errol Spence say, okay, I want to fight Terrence Crawford next. But then he defeats Manny Pacquiao, and then he started calling out Yordenis Ugas. We had enough of that shit with Ryan Garcia. We don't want to see that. We want truth. So give us that. That's all we want. We don't want, I'm going to fight Terrence Crawford. And then, when Jim Gray come up there, well, Errol, you finish off a boxing legend. Quickly tell us what's next for you. Well, I really want that WBA strap. So I think I'm going to go for Yordenis Ugas next. It makes no sense, man. It's just like Sean Porter when Errol Spence split the ropes on his post-fight and took his glory away. He said, yeah, I'll fight Errol Spence. No, he didn't. He didn't fight him right away. We get tired of hearing the okie doke. You know what I'm saying? So that's what it is, man. Anyway, moving on, man. Shout out to Terrence Bud Crawford. It's going to be a damn good fight. The best welterweight in boxing, hands down. The best welterweight in boxing, hands down. Hands down. I was really hoping he'd get a fight with Sean Porter or Keith Thurman. Hands down. You know what I'm saying? So let's hope both of these fights go as planned. Manny get put in retirement. And Terrence Crawford sends Sean Porter up to 154 where he could fight. But, he might not have enough confidence to go up there right now. But I think it's a good time for him, the old guard, Sean Porter, Danny Garcia. And then, whenever Errol Spence want to, add to his legacy, he can step up to 154 too. And then the same go for freaking Terrence Crawford. Try to go for a fourth division. Dare to be great. Mikey Garcia dared to be great for a fifth division. He came in there to fought Errol Spence. He's a four division champion. I mean, he is a four division champion. So him stepping up, he's going to be a 5 division champion before he retires. Mark my words, Mikey Garcia. All right. Pennant say PBC and Top Rank should just join forces, team up, and make sense for boxing. Okay, Pennant, you're making a whole lot of sense with that shit, man. Appreciate it. Check this out, though. Boxing is so disorganized, so disloyal. It's not based off what's good for the sport. It's based off individuals who's drawing in monetary gain and wealth for their own personal business. Like you got to look at how long Top Rank has been in the business. You look how long PBC has been in the business. They're so used to doing certain things together. I mean, apart. So when it comes time for them to work together, there's internal limitations of that shit. If you are expecting PBC and Top Rank to join forces to work with each other on a consistent basis, you're talking about two forces joining. It could be oil and water, man. You're talking about different personalities. You're talking about different structures. That's a lot to ask, bro. But it's a damn good suggestion, bro. You know what I'm saying? Because boxing need organization. But it's just a lot of people that's running the sport. It's too many branches to trim. We need to start pruning some shit from the bottom up and get some organization in the sport of boxing, starting with the amount of belts that's out there. And also, they need to come up with a different format, a standard operating procedure, so that we can get more fights that we want, the best fighting the best in the sport, man. Trick Noty, what's good, Trick? Hopefully everything is going well with you, man. I know you're out there trying to drop those pounds like change out of cup. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Trick Noty in the building, man. I see you out there, linking up some of these boxing legends, a lot of boxing legends with other channels. That's good. Grow the shit, man. Yeah, I'm gonna definitely reach out to you sometime in the future myself. But I just have too much going on right now. And that's why I'm not, popping up and doing lives on the regularity. But man, much respect to you, Trick. and what you're doing for the YouTube community. Real talk. Shout out to you, bro. Continue to grind. And yes, man, y'all salute Trick Nolte, man. He knows a lot of legacy fighters that's out here. Some of the greats to ever do it. Nitty say it's obviously Bud and EJ are the two best in the division. But in my opinion, we won't know who's the best until those two brothers fight each other. Well, that's your OP, Nitty. But I'm telling you that Bud Crawford is indeed the best welterweight out there. You know what I'm saying? That's what I'm saying. I don't need for you to link up with me on that. I don't need us to agree, bro. You know what I'm saying? I respect your opinion, though. You know what I'm saying? I respect it. Bruce Gold's in the building. What's good with you, fam? The Bridgerweight division is a bad idea for boxing and should be abolished. Also, cancel a waste of time. Pennant, you really, advocating for the Bridgerweight in a sense because you want me to talk about it, but I can't tonight. It'll be a different live. I think the Bridgerweight is a waste of boxing. We already have a saturated sport of belts, right? We have such a inconsistency when it comes to top names fighting one another. And a highlight of this is it's a lightweight division. It's become a circus. You know what I'm saying? That is a highlight of what I'm talking about. People saying they don't want to fight this fighter. How can you be the interim champion? You seen your attorneys. Now, I ain't going to fight Devin Haney. I want Gervonta Davis. Nah, I don't want Gervonta Davis. I got something bigger lined up. I'm going to fight Manny Pacquiao. No, I ain't fighting Manny Pacquiao. I got mental health issues. Let me go out here and chill with my girl on the beach and take some photos and shit, and get my shit wet and then come back to the sport after Javier Fortuna, loses his fight against Jojo Diaz. When the Javier Fortuna Jojo Diaz fight was signed, that's when Ryan Garcia came from the shadows. I'm back. Mr. Capper. Cappy. Ryan Garcia back in the limelight. Now he's coming back and saying the only fight I want is Gervonta Davis. Listen there, Ryan. Gervonta Davis would change your boxing life. He would change that shit. Them reaction drills that you do? All those videos, I think you should really understand how much Gervonta Davis would change your thought process and your timing on that. You might be on there doing a video and that shit hit you in the head a couple of times and someone leaked the video. You might be sitting up there asking Canelo questions, say, why? Donde es amigo? Why me? Why me? I used to be able to do this drill so well. Well, I told you, payday. You want payday with Gervonta? Payday. Not every money is good money. Okay, you ask for payday. Sometimes it bites you in the ass there, Ryan. I told you, don't fight Gervonta. You want payday? I'm telling you, Canelo told his ass, man. Shout out the goddamn Batman in the building, man. What's good with you? Shout out the Batman in the building. Miss say stoppage, KO, or one-sided ass whooping over Pac-Man should be considered Spence pound for pound ranking. Mitch, stop it. Stop it. Look, y'all wasn't saying that. Look, y'all wasn't saying that against with Mikey Garcia moving up. Mikey Garcia was moving up from lightweight to then welterweight. He said, I'm going to call out Spence because I see something. I see something other boxers don't see. That's what then Mikey Garcia was saying. I see something. What he saw was glove to face itis. Glove to face itis. That shit wasn't like COVID. It kept coming quick in a hurry. You know what I'm saying? Even though his defensive skill was pretty decent, his hair was in place at the final bell. I'm just saying. Errol Spence should be rewarded a pound for pound adjustment from going in there to feed Manny Pacquiao, bro. It wasn't not too long ago he lost to Jeff Horn. It wasn't not too long ago there, Mitch. You are speaking the truth. God bless you always, every day, every time, man. I have to talk on that Bridgerweight division another time, man. It's just not something I choose to venture off because I got to get to this UFC, Dillishaw's return, and talk about my boy Terrence Bud Crawford. I really hope that he get his business in order. I don't really talk about boxers' business. I'm not the one to do PowerPoint press and just itemize the money aspect of these boxers, because to be honest with you, a lot of us content creators don't truly know the raw numbers that's going on with these fighters. We don't know. Like when Eddie Hearns is up there talking about Anthony Joshua making, every time he turn around, he's making 25 million, 38 million per fight. There's no Deontay Wilder. There's no way he can fight him. Anthony Joshua was $100 million man. Come on, man. Stop capping. But appreciate you, Penny, for pulling up. Stoppage, KO, or complete ass whooping of Porter would definitely be impressive of Crawford. But I'm not sure that it moves him above Canelo on the pound for pound list. Draw or bad performance may move him down, though. So what you're saying is one side gets rewarded while the other one gets observed. So you're basically saying Terrence Crawford go in there. Let's just say, we can't overlook Kell Brook smashing. He smashed Kell Brook. Kell Brook was over the head. He was done. Kell Brook had 3 fights at 154. After that beating. And then came back down to 47. And people like, look at him in the weigh-ins. He looked drawn in. He looked sick, tired, and all this other shit. We can't keep doing that shit because he was a champion at 47. So y'all was busy crying about him fighting a common opponent of Errol Spence. And when Bud finally did it, he smashed him. So now we get Sean Porter, right? It don't need to be a complete ass whooping. It just needs to be a dominant performance, a respectable, impressive performance. Because let's be honest there, Mitch. Errol Spence was getting touched up by Sean Porter in a fight. Sean Porter was turning Errol Spence and spinning him like a top. Let's be clear. Errol Spence don't have the best head movement. So when you talk about a style like Sean Porter, aggressiveness, coming forward, staying in his chest, keep staying close, making the phone booth type of fight, turning him on the ropes. I'm like, he was doing that shit with ease, man. I don't think Crawford needs this incredible performance like he did with Kell Brook. Because if he goes in there and stops Sean Porter for the first time, I think that will be the only thing that will raise an eyebrow to these boxing fans and say, oh shit, this motherfucker stopped Sean Porter. The reason why it's going to be extremely important to recognize how special it is if he's able to go in there and stop Sean Porter, because Sean Porter is known to have a pretty decent chin. You know what I'm saying? So I can't contradict myself in praising Errol Spence in the eye of the storm and catching Sean Porter with a left hook and dropping him in the 11. You know what I'm saying? I can't go against that. I can't contradict myself. But if Terrence Crawford is able to knock him down several times or stop Sean Porter, he needs to move up past Inouye on the pound for pound list. He needs to. The reason why I say Inouye, because they have Inouye at the bantamweight division just sitting up there chilling, man. Like, he went the distance with Nonito Donaire, and people look at it like it's nothing. Like, he went the distance. This is the guy they call Monster. He's supposed to be knocking motherfuckers out all the time and shit like that. But he goes the distance with an older fighter, and people just like, he beat him. He beat him. But no, y'all was hyping him up like he's knocking out dust, everything in his sight. So when it comes to Terrence Crawford, guess what? He doesn't have to go in there and stop Sean Porter. He just has to go in there and beat him. And do it famously. That's all he has to do. And that's all I'm hoping he does. But if he goes in there and somehow, some way, stops Sean Porter, let's say he stops him in the 12th round like he did Jose Benavidez. It still counts. People get on here, oh, Errol Spence knocked him down in 11. Who gives a fuck? We're basically assessing and grading the performance comparable to a future fight between him and Errol Spence. The fight, in my opinion, should be a 50-50 fight after all the hoopla and all the damn boxing talk, the banter, the verbal sparring. This shit should be a 50-50 fight just to give us what we have been asking. We have been asking for this Terrence Crawford and Errol Spence fight. And it's getting to a point right now that is stale. Like, don't nobody want to talk about that welterweight shit no more, man. We want to see the puzzle pieces move into play. Example, Teofimo Lopez vacating his IBF title. It does nothing to blemish his career because he's stepping back in there with what a lot of people was latching on to as a top pound for pound fighter, right? Who he beat. So Bob Arum wants to go back in and make that fight with Teofimo and Facile Chico. Good. We get to see the best fight the best again. Unfortunately, Devin Haney is out of the equation because I was hoping Teofimo Lopez fight Devin Haney next with all the belts. That shit has gone. Done. Unless Haney want to go over there and fight for the IBF. But that shit is gone. Once again, that's boxing. But what are we getting? We're getting a dynamic fight. We're getting a rematch on what a lot of people, they lost some money. Because I ain't going to lie. I collected on YouTube. I'm not going to lie. On that Lomachenko Lopez fight, I collected big time. So for Bob Arum to sit up here and say, I'm going to make a rematch and we're going to do it on PPV, great. Let's see it. Francis Ngannou in boxing would be awesome. I don't know, but I'll talk about it in a little bit when I talk about this mixed martial arts. I'm not saying it's totally off, but who would you put him in there with to start off his career? Who would you like to see Francis Ngannou in there with, bro? His first fight. Who do you think he can sit up there and box with boxing gloves on? We're not talking about 4-ounce gloves, big dog. I know you know what you're talking about. We ain't talking about 4-ounce gloves, okay? We're talking about 10. Who would you like to see him fight? 12-0 shutout of Mikey. Maybe what got Spence on the pound for pound list. Man, absolutely not. I'll take that back, Mitch. I'll take that back. Something happened. You know what I'm saying? It might, something happened. Because there's no criteria, there's no format to that shit. That's just the situation Crawford is in. He's number 2 behind Canelo. He's not jumping Canelo with Porter win. Spence is 4, maybe 5 on the most lists. He has more room to advance. Well, I can tell you on the ring there, Mitch. Spence is number 6 behind Josh Taylor, bro. You know what I'm saying? Josh Taylor become undisputed at junior welterweight, and they move him in front of Spence. It was Terrence Crawford, Alexander Usyk, and then Errol Spence, bringing in number 5. Now Josh Taylor wins. They put him at number 5 and move Errol Spence to 6, bro. It's hilarious. No consistency. No, where's the criteria to the pound for pound adjustments? The shift and changes in position. What is the criteria? I don't know, because before I thought you had to have a belt to be on the pound for pound list. I assumed, but that's not true, because Alexander Usyk hasn't had a belt in a minute. And he's on the pound for pound list, all from his unification at cruiserweight. And then you get Vasyl Lomachenko. He loses to Lopez, and they put him right next to Lopez on the pound for pound list. He's not there right now, but he was. Lopez was 6, Lomachenko was 7. Aaron Jones, what's good with you, bro? It's not a 50-50 fight, in my opinion. Spence beats Crawford in terrible fashion. Okay. I know who you vibing with right now, but I totally, absolutely, utterly disagree. Terrible fashion. He didn't beat Mikey Garcia in terrible fashion. What you talking about, Shouty? What you talking about? Mikey Garcia walked up out there, hit the showers, and went to the club that night. Come on, man. Now, Aaron, I could identify that Danny Garcia was beaten in terrible fashion, but not Mikey Garcia, bro. He's not going to beat Crawford in terrible fashion at all. He's not going to defeat Crawford, period. Somebody pass the YouTube offering tray around and let's collect these bets. Yes, sir. Spence and Broner knocked Porter down with the left hook. Different kind of left hooks, but left hooks nonetheless. Bomac will have Crawford working that punch repetitiously in camp for sure. There you go. 100%. Seal that shit up. Mail it off. I mean, I don't really look at who knocked them down. You know what I'm saying? We know they came at different times in the fight, and they was in later in the fight. I think Sean Porter was much more complacent with Broner because he was shocked. If you look at his eyes, he's like, huh? What the fuck? Where did that shit come from? But he was in a motherfucking war with Spence. And he was just all dialed in to his usually brawling fashion in the championship rounds. And Spence had the more sharper IQ. Like, it's almost like a sniper. And he's goddamn shooting targets. He's zoned in. And every time a target pops up through his optics, he squeezed off. Boom. That's what Spence did on Porter. He's seen it clear. I think at that point in time, Errol Spence, the fight was slowed down for Errol Spence. And he was able to see the same shit repetitionally with Sean Porter on him closing distance. And he set that damn left hook up beautifully. And you know what? Sean Porter's chin, his neurological system, it fired back on right at the last minute. His shit went off for a second and fired back on. His eyes rolled back in his head. That shit shut down for a minute and fired back up. But his glove had touched the canvas. Sean Porter glove touched the canvas just as lightly as Floyd Mayweather glove did against Zab Judah. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth. You know I'm telling the truth, man. Am I right or wrong? It touched the canvas the same way, dog. It was a flash, pop, just light. It was a knockdown for one and not the other. Francis Ngannou versus Kubrat Pulev as a debut fight. I don't know, man. You're giving Ngannou a lot of credit. I don't know, man. That's not a bad fight. But Pulev might fuck him up, dog. You're talking about Francis, him coming in here for his first fight. It has to be no less than 10 rounds. You know what I'm saying? Aaron say, what up, WCS? What's good with you, bro? Talk your shit, man. Cool. So Spence is 6 on ring pound for pound list. I guarantee he moves up on that list with the good win over Pac-Man. More room for advancement. So okay. Yeah, it's a great possibility for him to shift positions, but when it comes down to it, he'll be returning back to the position that he already had when Josh Taylor won the unified titles. So therefore, how are you going to gauge probability of what value is higher than the other. Errol Spence with a WBC because he's not fighting for a belt, right? So he's going to have the same WBC IBF title, right? So therefore, you look at Josh Taylor, he still has all the belts, 4-belt era. He has all the belts, 4-belt era. So just because Errol Spence goes out here and fights Sean Porter for no belt, how does it justify reversing what they did in the first place? They're going to return him back to a slot, number 5, on where he was before Josh Taylor defeated Jose Ramirez? Come on, Mitch. Does that make sense? I'm not saying a lot of shit in boxing makes sense, but does that make sense to you, my brother? It doesn't to me. It doesn't make sense. Because the reason why they put Josh Taylor in front of Errol Spence was what? Because he's a 4-belt champion. Errol Spence is fighting a name in boxing. So if that is indeed the case, let's just say you're right, okay? That means they're going off popularity of Manny Pacquiao over championship stripes. They're basically saying Manny Pacquiao's name is like Errol Spence gaining 2 more belts. They might say, well, if you look at it, Manny Pacquiao, he's the true super champion. If you look at it, he was in recess. So we're going to credit Errol Spence for defeating Manny Pacquiao for the WBA title. And then we're going to tie in the 8 divisions. And we're going to tie in his entire collective experience in the sport of boxing. That's what we're going to add into Spence's credentials to formulate to move past Josh Taylor. It wouldn't make any sense because the main reason why they push Errol Spence down is because he's a single, he's a dual champion at the welterweight division. I need more bullet points to the criteria, Mitch. That's all I'm saying. Like, I need more bullet points as to what is the SOP when it comes to these pound for pound lists. Because Manny Pacquiao, it's no belt involved. Josh Taylor is ahead of Errol Spence because of him being the undisputed champion at junior welterweight with the 4 belts. Everything boxing and sports in the building. What's good with you, bro? Salute to you, Keon in the house. Man, y'all better be damn sure to check my man Keon out, man. Doing big things over there. Daily content creator. And be talking his shit, man. Very knowledgeable brother in the sport. Support Keon, everything boxing and sports, man. Keon, you can always put your link in the chat, bro. You know what I'm saying? And once again, man, I appreciate Keon, coming here supporting and putting my name out there. Even though I'm not on all the time, I appreciate your support, my brother. Real talk. Genuine dude. Shout out to him and Money Brown supporting the channel, man. Like, I'm not going on a pity parade just because, motherfuckers got 100 viewers in there. I don't care about none of that. I'm going to talk my shit regardless, but I do appreciate the cats like, Keon and Money Brown, man, supporting the channel, man, putting it out there on their platforms. I appreciate you, bro. Shit funny. Danny actually win a few rounds versus Spence. Mike ain't do shit but move and get punched. But everyone agrees Danny looked worse. Why is that? Expectations for Danny. It was expectations for both of them, especially from the Mexican community for Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like Danny Garcia, let's be honest. He's straddling the fence as a gatekeeper at welterweight. If he is choosing to absquatulate to 154, then cool. I'm just tired of seeing him at this point in time losing the big names in the welterweight division. I'm tired of Sean Porter losing the big names in the welterweight division. And then, he looked so bad. Somebody asked him a question. He said, talk to my dad, talk to my pop. That's the problem. That's the weakest link right there, your pops, when it comes to your training. I just don't see him being effective. But you know what? That love is unconditional between Danny Garcia and his pops. So he's not going to change anything regardless. He's tough enough to come in second. Danny Garcia's a tough fighter, bro. He ain't no pushover. But if he's going up to 154, man, I salute him, man. I salute him from, making a shift change, moving up in the division, and getting the fuck out of the welterweight division. Old guard leaves, new guard arrives, and take over. But Mikey Garcia, Danny, two different fights with Errol Spence. Mikey Garcia, like I said, he was still set to go to the club and have a damn good night. Danny Garcia, he went straight to the ER, goddammit. Can I get an IV and some ice? You see my eye? How, does it look as bad as it did on camera? Man, come on, man. I still want to be Dillian White versus Deontay Wilder. Yeah, a lot of us want that. I would like to see that. I definitely. Dillian versus Deontay, I want to see it. Real talk. It's a win over Pac-Man after he beat a top welterweight in Thurman. It's a win over Pac-Man after he beat a top welterweight in Thurman. Again, the performance will be weighted. It has to be impressive. Okay, once again, Mitch, I look at it like this, bro. You're combining what Manny Pacquiao did in 2019, right? Why doesn't every other boxer get that same accolade? Don't let me start throwing names out there when it comes to this damn hiatus and being out of the ring. How, just because he went up there and defeated Keith Thurman, look, how many times did he defend his belt? If this is if you want to place your finger on this damn medal right here, that he went in there and defeated Keith Thurman in 2019, right? What does that have to do with him stepping into the ring with Errol Spence when he didn't even get reinstated as a Super WBA champion? How does that work, my brother? How can you combine that accolade, which has been stripped of Manny Pacquiao? You can't do that, bro. You got to leave that slice off. Like when you're making your sandwich, you want to put that cheese. No, that cheese, there's no cheese, goddammit. Leave that shit off. Real talk, leave it. He don't get no goddamn cheese on this shit. He been out the ring for 2 fucking years. Why? I disagree with that, man. All these lists are subjective. You mentioned Ring, so I was going off their list. I don't really agree with Ring pound for pound list. Jamal is Ring champ at 154, and he ain't on the list. He's Ring champ, dog. You mean Jamal? I mean, you know what I'm saying? I know who you meant. I know who you meant. But you mean Jamal? I ain't gonna get on Jamal, man. Jamal, Terrence Crawford summed that shit up perfectly. You know, he's not the undisputed titleist, though. He's not the undisputed titleist, bro. He's not the undisputed titleist. Seriously, he's not. That performance, we know what it was, man. I don't blame Angel for none of that shit. Danny said he was out of it. Pandemic, no audience, and other shit leading to the fight made the fight feel weird. These were Danny words. I had to get that yarn out and shit. Man, they have that unconditional bond there, Mitch. Him and his father have that love, man. When it comes to that, I'm not gonna never sit up here and go against the grain and try to be critical of that shit. They have a bond, man. They have a bond as family, La Familia, numero uno. Catching a fighter coming off a good win has been valued in the game. I can't discount it now because it's Spence. I know where you're going, but look, every fighter doesn't get that ultimate reward. You know what I'm saying? Every fighter, when it comes to this conversation on YouTube with the content creators, we just can't sit up here and say Manny Pacquiao lastly defeated Keith Thurman. He's been out the ring for this long, stripped of his title. not reinstated, rejected for reinstatement to super champion. Now he's fighting Errol Spence. You can't pretend like he's gonna split the ropes and that belt is gonna be on the line, just like Tyson Fury's Phantom Lineal Championship. Come on, Mitch. They can't do that shit, bro. We can't even have this shit in conversation. Because that's what it reminds me of. A little bit exaggerated, but come on, man. Tyson Fury talking about his lineal championship, and goddamn Manny Pacquiao talking about his goddamn WBA title. You don't have it, bro. You've been out the ring for a deuce. And let's please don't make excuses for Danny Garcia. It's a lot of fighters that fought during the pandemic, and they won. Danny Garcia has lost against big names. Yes, sir. Let me just throw the trio up there. Thurman, Porter, Spence. Let me just throw. I'm leaving Kell Brook out of it. But come on now. Come on now. I mentioned Jamel, the nigga ring champion 154 ain't never met. Now you said Jamal, big dog. But it's all good. I ain't petty like that, bro. We human. We make mistakes. I blame Danny Garcia for those performances, not Angel. Same way I would never blame Cunningham or any of those coaches AB had when he was throwing his fucking hands. Man, shout out to AB, man. I hope he get himself together. Real talk. That's a real one right there. Shout out to AB, man. Adrian Broner, you listening? Shout out, man. I know you heavy up there in Cincy. They respect the shit out of Adrian Broner up there in Cincy, man. You know, shout out to Mike Stafford, Coach Levi, all them coaches up there in Cincinnati, man, mentoring these kids. I ain't fucking with Adrian Broner. I don't have nothing negative to say about Adrian Broner, man. Shout out to AB for being that guy. You know what I'm saying? There's a better quality of heavyweights now than Klitschko's and so forth. Heavyweights now, the Klitschko's eras. Yeah. Hold on for a second. Let me. Okay. I got to move on to my boy Dillishaw. TJ Dillishaw, right? TJ Dillishaw is returning back to the sport. All right. If you don't know who TJ Dillishaw is, man, he had a wild ride, man. He had one of the most wildest rides outside of Conor McGregor. TJ Dillishaw was once a team alpha male fighter. I look at it like this. When he was coming out of Ultimate Fighter, it was so much hype behind TJ Dillashaw. They was like, man, he's going to be the next best. He's going to be the next best. It was so much hype coming out of TJ Dillashaw. His record, I think, is 16-4, right? Let me tell you who he lost to. TJ Dillashaw lost to John Dobson in his Ultimate Fighter 14 finale. Dodson had the best fight of his fucking career in upsetting TJ Dillashaw, who him and Dodson hadn't even began their UFC career yet. They was coming out the Ultimate Fighter to get the contract. And Dodson hurt TJ Dillashaw and stopped him. Not in 5 rounds, not in 4, 3, 2, in round 1. It was incredible. Then he goes up here and loses to Rafael Assunção on a split decision. He's shaking his head. But this is what I love about my mixed martial arts, in the UFC. They allow him to fight one more fight. It wasn't even a top-ranked fighter, but they allow him to fight Mike Easton and put him in there for a title shot. Look, when he lost to John Dobson, he only went on a 4-fight win streak, and the names wasn't that big. We don't even hardly know these names until he stepped in there against Rafael Assunção. So he loses a split decision to Assunção, right? And then he fights Mike Easton. Now, Let me tell you how this shit takes a huge twist, y'all. Check this out. This is what I do. He was with Uriah Favorite Team Alpha Male. Uriah Favorite recruited TJ Dillishaw when he was in high school, bro. In the Ultimate Fighter, word was going around that TJ Dillishaw was a snake in the grass. And you know who made that shit relevant and important to pay attention to? The one and only notorious Conor McGregor. People just thought Conor McGregor was just talking shit about TJ Dillashaw. But no, he was like, oh, you're snake in the grass. You're snake in the motherfucking grass. And he started telling motherfuckers that TJ Dillashaw was a snake. They told him. And come to find out, Dwayne Bang Ludwig, a former UFC contender, was training TJ Dillashaw behind the scenes. I don't know if these two was dual or tandem in their plot, but come to find out, TJ Dillashaw was planning on moving out the Team Elevation to train with Dwayne Ludwig. All right. Ludwig was going to leave Team Alpha Male and also take TJ Dillashaw with him. Not only that, TJ Dillashaw, with an attachment to the snake in the grass, he ended up purchasing a house without letting any members know at Team Alpha Male. So when he finally got his title shot against Renan Barão, you saying, I had to correct some people on this. I'll say he didn't win that shit on the Team Alpha Male. He won it when he was with Ludwig. He goes in there and he knocks out Renan Barão, which was a very brutal fight. He punished Barão, and he himself took some punishment, but he ended the fight in round 5. He becomes champion, y'all. TJ Dillashaw defeat Renan Barão, win his first championship under the banner of Ludwig, not Team Alpha Male. So people's like, oh shit, maybe it was good for him to go with Coach Ludwig and they leave Team Alpha Male. But the big part about it, people, that it was betrayal. It was motherfucking betrayal, man. He betrayed Uriah Favorite. Betrayed the fuck out of him, y'all. Uriah Favorite himself hasn't won a championship. This was a huge look. This dude right here was the next best. TJ Dillashaw was the next best on the Team Alpha Male. Joseph Benavidez was the other guy they was looking to win a future championship. And then, of course, Cody Garbrandt was waiting in the wings. But let's move on. He wins the title, right? He wins the title. He defeats Renan Barão. He go out there and fought a guy named Soto, defeats him, and then he runs into one of the best bantamweight fighters in UFC history, Dominick Cruz. Did I tell you that I totally understand and know the history? Dominick Cruz was coming off his last win against Takeya Mizugaki. That was in 2014. He returned back to the UFC 2 years later in 2016 to step in there with a title fight against TJ Dillashaw, y'all. Dominick Cruz, as good as he is injury prone. Dana White allowed a man that was he was out of the cage for 2 years to return for a championship fight. Dominick Cruz goes in there and wins split decision against TJ Dillashaw. Amazing fight. You know why? Because Dominick Cruz, his footwork is man, that's an unbelievable rhythm that he has with his footwork. The way his angles is so odd and eccentric. You know, it's almost like it's a one-on-one for him. And what's so fucked up about this whole deal, right, was the way Dominick Cruz went in there and fought TJ Dillashaw. Dillashaw ended up taking and practicing that footwork of Dominick Cruz. He ended up emulating the footwork of Dominick Cruz. because he was baffled at what he was seeing. He lost a split decision in 2016. So he lost his title. Look, he goes on to fight Rafael Assunção, who he lost to early in his career, and he gets him in the rematch, right? Unanimous decision. Fights John Lineker, and then steps in there with the Cody Garbrandt. Look, check this out. This is how crazy this backstory is. Cody Garbrandt steps in there with Dominique Cruz, the same Dominique Cruz who won the title off TJ Dillishaw. Cody Garbrandt is also a Team Alpha Male student. He was also there with TJ Dillishaw. It had been said that TJ Dillishaw was trying to hurt motherfuckers in Team Alpha Male doing training. He was sparring a little rough when they supposed to just be sparring. He was damn taking that shit serious and knocking motherfuckers unconscious. But anyway, Cody Garbrandt, y'all, check this out. Cody Garbrandt gets a Team Alpha Male opportunity to win their first championship. When I say first championship, I'm talking strictly UFC, because we all know Uriah Faber, he subbed out Dominique Cruz in the World Extreme Cage fighting before they closed that down and came over to the UFC. Cody Garbrandt goes in there and defeats Dominique Cruz, y'all. The same Dominique Cruz that came in there and defeated TJ Dillishaw. Do you know how epic that is? Cody Garbrandt goes in there in between time and defeats Dominique Cruz. But guess what Dana White does, y'all? Dana White said, okay, all right. He gives TJ Dillishaw, who lost his belt to Dominique Cruz coming off a 2-year hiatus. Dana White allows him to fight a couple of mediocre names and get right back in there for a title shot. He goes in there and fight Cody Garbrandt, knocks him out in 2 rounds. This is why this story is just incredible. He knocks out Cody Garbrandt, the one who had won the first title for Team Alpha Male. Uriah Faber is looking at Cody Garbrandt and say, man, you know, I'm shedding a tear. This is amazing, because that was his protege. That was supposed to be TJ Dillishaw bringing the first chip in Team Alpha Male. It didn't happen. So Cody Garbrandt got it done. It was a wonderful night. Guess what? Dana White says, you know what? Cody Garbrandt, I'm going to give you TJ Dillishaw. He's still the top ranked contender. Cody Garbrandt and TJ Dillishaw fights. He knocks him out in 2 rounds. Dana White said, guess what? I'm going to give you an immediate rematch. You're the champion now, TJ. That's what I like about Dana. Best fight the best. So he knocks him out in 2 rounds in the first fight. TJ goes back in there and knocks out Cody Garbrandt in round 1. In round 1, y'all. Look, we're talking about history. Uriah Faber recruiting this dude at high school. Check this out. He gets upset in the Ultimate Fighter Finale 14 by John Dobson. He works his way up. He loses before. He's supposed to be the next big thing. He loses before he gets his title shot. They allow him to fight one other person and gets him the title shot. He defeats Henry Barral. Boom, he's champion. But that's after he left Team Alpha Male. So coming full circle, he meets Dominique Cruz after a 2-year layoff. Boom, gets defeated. In the meanwhile, Dominique Cruz gets defeated by Cody Garbrandt. So he fights some mediocre names, goes back up, and Dana White said, you know, I'm going to give you a title shot again. It's Cody. He goes in there and stops him in 2 rounds, and then he gets a rematch, stops him in 1. This way it gets amazingly intriguing, y'all. Amazing. Dana White begins to plot on the flyweight division. Demetrius Johnson was one of those GOATs who didn't really promote himself. He was a badass motherfucker. 125 pounds that was fucking motherfuckers up. He even ran into his nemesis in a rematch. Henry Cejudo ended up defeating Demetrius Johnson in a rematch. Damn near after 2 years. He had 2 years to get it together and fight other people, and he was able to get it done and become the flyweight champion. But in the meantime, Dana White was plotting to abolish the flyweight division. He said, fuck that, man. You know, it was rumor going around they was going to create a 165-pound division because the lightweight division is 155, and then it jumps to welterweight, which is 170. So there's a rumor going out that they might, you know, create a 165-pound division. So what Dana White does, Henry Cejudo's a champion, right? They said, guess what? Henry Cejudo, we want you to fight TJ Dillishaw. Henry Cejudo outprices himself. He wants a lot of money. So Dana White said, fuck you, Henry. We're going to goddamn get the shit to TJ Dillishaw. So they go in there and they talk to TJ Dillishaw. They run them numbers by him. TJ Dillishaw agrees to drop down to 125 and fight Henry Cejudo. TJ Dillishaw, full of controversy, highlights controversy, right? He goes in there. Check this out. He goes in there, y'all. He's still the bantamweight champion, homie. He moves down to 1 1/4 to face Henry Cejudo. Triple C. He will become Mr. Triple C, 3-time champion. And we're going to get to that. He steps in there against Henry Cejudo and get knocked out in the first round at 125. Dana White is scratching his bald head like, God damn. I pay this man all this money and he gets knocked the fuck out in 1 round at flyweight division when Dana White was trying to sabotage Henry Cejudo. He said, you know what? I'm going to fuck you up. You trying to damn ask me for all this money and outprice yourself? I'm going to have TJ Dillashaw move down to flyweight and fuck you up. And it didn't work out. Cejudo knocked his ass out. And you know what? You know what? Those of you that's tuning in, you know what else happened? TJ Dillashaw popped positive, dog. Popped positive. He popped dirty. Not only did he get knocked the fuck out, he popped dirty. This is what a climax come in at. He's suspended from the sport, stripped of his bantamweight title. And now he's returning back to the ring after all that. I mean, when you talk about going to the dark side by force, again, that's TJ Dillashaw. One of the most fascinating stories in an MMA career. Just one of them outside of Conor McGregor. Seriously. Him getting knocked out in the first round when the Ultimate Fighter, rising all the way up, having the opportunity to become champ because Dana White was plotting to shut down the flyweight division, gets knocked out in round 1, pops dirty, and gets suspended from the sport. And you know what? Team Alpha Male, they haven't really spoke on it before. They say, you know what? We've heard that he was dirty. People was now coming out saying that, yeah, they seen him doping. A lot of people was talking on that shit. And he's coming back in him to face the one and only Corey Sandhagen. Now, I can't tell you how TJ Dillashaw is going to look against Corey Sandhagen. Sandhagen is one of these prodigies that it was a lot riding behind him. He's a tall fighter. And I'm just going to break him down, then I'm out. I'm going to break him down just a little bit. He's 14-2. I'm not going to talk about his loss outside of the UFC at LFA, but his one loss in the UFC is against Aljamain Sterling, y'all. He has some common opponents with TJ Dillashaw. He fought John Lineker, Rafael Assunção. And then he stepped in there with Aljamain Sterling to basically, set him up for the title shot. And Aljamain Sterling had a different game plan, man. He went in there and subbed him out in one round. It was unbelievable. I was like, damn, I didn't see this shit coming. Corey Sandhagen gets shut down. His very next fight, he fight Marlon Moraes. Yeah, the same Marlon Moraes who stepped in there against Jose Aldo, the fight for the vacant bantamweight title. He beats him with a wheel kick, and this is after he lost the title. And then they put Corey Sandhagen in there with Frankie the Answer Edgar. Now, Frankie's been in some wars. Just do your research, look him up. He was one of my favorite fighters, man, to be that size. And once again, I compare Frankie to boxing because Frankie has some of the best hands in mixed martial arts. For his height, he could box his ass off. Frankie goes in there and gets stopped with a flying knee. I'm talking about frozen, like this motherfucker is a brand new igloo. He gets frozen, stiff, standing up from a flying knee. A bad knockout, a real bad knockout. And that puts Corey Sandhagen on a 2-fight win streak, Marlon Moraes and Frankie Edgar. Now he's stepping in there with his toughest competition to date, TJ Dillishaw. Even coming off a freaking suspension for popping dirty, he's still going to be his toughest opposition step in his UFC career. Because TJ Dillishaw is a multi-time bantamweight champion. And though he popped positive in the combat community, you know what it is. Come on, man. Let's be honest with ourselves. It's cheats, it's drug cheats still competing after suspension. I'm not gonna mention no names. I ain't gonna switch the subject, but I'm talking about mixed martial arts. I'm talking about Muay Thai, boxing. The list goes on. But he's stepping in there with TJ Dillashaw tomorrow. So y'all be sure to check that shit out. That's gonna be fire. Corey Sandhagen against TJ Dillashaw returning to the sport after his suspension. And it's a big deal. TJ Dillashaw was suspended back in 2019, y'all. January 2019. They suspended this dude 2 years. His last fight was January 2019, y'all. He's returning back to the cage for competition. 2.5-year layoff, suspension to get back in the ring. No, I think they might have suspended him more than 2 years, but you know what I'm talking about. But yeah, anyway, let me get some of these comments and then I'm out, man. I can talk about MMA all day, man. I wasn't even looking at the comments. Apologize to those who've been dropping comments in here. But Deion Washington, my boy, what's good with you, bro? Shout out to Deion Washington, man. When I'm out on the road and shit, man, he constantly, give me updates on fights and I'm not looking at, I can't access at the time. I appreciate the support that Deion, real talk, because you don't have to do that shit. We appreciate your input, man, and giving me those updates, big dog. Everything Boxing and Sports dropped his link in there. Y'all be sure to subscribe right now. It's very little effort you have to put into it, but the results mean everything, the value of it. Go support my man, Everything Boxing and Sports Keon. Very knowledgeable cat, very solid content creator out here on this YouTube shit, man. And he keeps the same energy. Know that. He keeps the same energy. He cuts my, if he going at you on live, he'll do the same thing on the phone call, dog. So check him out, man. 147 is all smoke now. I want to see it. I want to see, man. Like you got Jerome Ennis, yes. You got Virgil Ortiz, man. You have so many names that's up there at 147 right now. It's looking good. But to be honest with you, I'm just looking for the old guard to move so the new guard can come in and we can get some fresh faces in there. That's all. But y'all be sure to check that fight out. With Corey Sandhagen, TJ Dillashaw. It's gonna be on this weekend. It's gonna be on UFC Fight Night. It's going to be a very good fight. I can't say who's going to get knocked out. Corey Sandhagen, man, he's a taller fighter, but it's going to be a damn good fight, man. I know TJ Dillishaw had 2.5 years to train, dog. Listen, it had nothing to do with the pandemic. His ass was suspended for doping. EPO. Hopefully y'all got something out of it, bro. You know what I'm saying? And continue to support the channel. Continue to support the channel. Even if I'm not on here every day, man, believe me, I got shit I have to take care of and all that. Man, I appreciate the ones who stay in touch. You know, if you get the notifications, you know, hopefully you get a notification. I try to, you know, be a little bit consistent, you know, to try to keep the algorithm right. But to be honest with you, man, I ain't lost no passion for this. I haven't lost no passion. It's just I got stuff I need to take care of. But man, appreciate everyone for tuning in today. Salute. Y'all continue to be blessed out here. Hit the like button, man, if you haven't already did it. I know I don't tell people that all the time because y'all grown ass fucking adults. But I need for you to start hitting the like button and showing support, man. You know, sharing the content. It's not like I have no idea on what the hell I'm talking about. I ain't gonna go in here ranting and raving. I might periodically, but you're not gonna get that out of me, man. Every now and then I might raise my rise or inflection of the voice, but most important, man, I want y'all to continue to support the channel. Hit the like button, share the content, and pass the word, man. Salute to the ones who really fuck with the channel. I'm out.
Pardon me and my tone. You can't step to my throne. They ain't working like me. I did this on my own. You asking where we been, huh? I don't know where to begin, huh? All this dirt on my skin. I just came here to win. I'm more than a man, I'm a monster. Somebody call a pastor, doctor. I got a 6 sense for imposters. So now I'm coming for the whole roster. It's not a game, why you playing with me? You could double back, lose track, try and hang with me. It must be in my veins, something you can't tame, cause I break the chains. Can't control me. I got the power, I got the keys, cause I break the chains. They try to hold me, I'ma push back, just wait and you'll see. Please excuse me, your honor, but you can't hold me no longer. Can't you feel the vibrations? I broke out and left traces. Go ahead, try catch me if you can, man. You'll be looking all night, I'm the Sandman. New York, London to Japan. I'ma show the whole world who I am. Boom.